welcome to another wonderful meeting, the meeting number 1433. I will be the acting Sergeant at Arms for today. My job is to get the entire meeting ready. Let me first tell you some rules that we'd like to follow throughout the meeting. As we do not want to hurt anyone's sentiments, please refrain from talking about sex, religion, and politics. When a speaker is on stage and speaking, please wait until the applause to move around or to move outside the hall. And please keep the center lane clear, as the recording will be in progress and your movement might hamper it. Now, in today's age, there is one thing that we cannot live without. It is more important than apparently oxygen. I am definitely talking about our cell phones, so that no one is disturbed by them. Please keep your cell phones on silent, and I will be giving you 5 seconds to do so. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I would also request everyone sitting in the last rows to please come forward, and I will give you another 5 seconds to do so. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I would really like to continue, but Miss Rashi, could you please come forward? Thank you. Again, welcome to Bangalore Toastmasters Club. Now, the next person I will be calling on stage is a person who gets my heart rate up every single Saturday in the morning. I go home after a wonderful Toastmasters meeting at 10 in the night. I sleep at 11:30, and I am ready to take a long slumber and wake up probably at 9 or 10 on Saturday morning and have a lazy Saturday. But there is one person who won't let me do this. Because every Saturday at 5 in the morning, she wakes me up and she's like, Vishal, it's time for us to go for a run in Kaban Park. And she makes sure that I sweat out all the junk food that I ate throughout the week. Now, with such an energetic person, and she has been with Nokia for 10 years, a well-experienced professional, the person on stage next will be Madam President, Toastmaster Priyanka.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Vishal, for such a wonderful introduction. Wishing each one of you a very good evening and a warm welcome to Bangalore Toastmasters Club.
Good evening.
I call to order meeting number 1433. Last week we had a very interesting meeting where we heard amazing stories which gave us all great insights and also sprinkled with humor. To throw more light about it, please join me in welcoming our Secretary, Toastmaster Brian.
Good evening, Toastmasters and my lovely guests. Good evening. Can you get a louder good evening? Good evening.
Good evening.
Let's see what happened in the previous meeting number 1432. The date was June 7th, 2024, with the theme An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of best evaluator, distinguished Toastmaster Ujyant. The best role taker, Toastmaster Kumar was the Toastmaster of the day. The best table topic speaker, Toastmaster Vijay Kalkundri, who praised table topic master. There were 11 table topic speakers with 27 members present and 13 guests. Thank you.
Are there any amendments of the minutes of meeting? I now ask the previous minutes of meeting 1432. Do we have guests who are visiting us for the very first time today? Please raise your hands. Could you please stand up and introduce yourself by telling your name and how did you hear about Toastmasters?
Hello everyone, myself Shatty, and I have heard about Toastmaster through my colleagues and my friend circle. So that's why I'm visiting for the first time to learn about it. And that's all.
Thank you. A warm welcome. Yes, please.
Hello everyone, my name is Anand. I'm working on Toastmasters from Google Chrome.
Thank you so much. A warm welcome.
Hello everyone, my name is Shreyas. I was looking for a public speaking forum. So one of my colleagues suggested me to attend Toastmasters. So yeah, made my mind and to attend.
Great. A warm welcome. Yes.
Hi, I'm Manish. I heard about Toastmasters Club, and I'm just exploring.
Wonderful. A warm welcome. I hope I didn't miss anyone. Fellow Toastmasters, let us together warmly welcome our guests with a thunderous applause. A couple of days back, I was listening to a podcast that was on importance of having a right coach and mentor in one's life. Having a right coach and a mentor plays a very important role. They instill the right mindset and the techniques to an individual that helps them grow in life. But when that coach applies those techniques and the right mindset to a group of people, it creates wonders. And so did this one very person, a legendary American basketball player and later a coach, John Wooden. The time he took up as a coach and what he learned in his career span and what he applied during his career, the principles of hard work, discipline and teamwork, he instilled the same to his teammates. And when he did so, the struggling team became a consecutive national champion players for almost 12 years. So that shows that how important it is to have someone very right in your life. During his coaching sessions, what he emphasizes on is the characteristics and the trait of every single player that he is dealing with. Because when he understands and helps every individual understand what are their traits, the characters, and how they need to work cohesively as a team, it makes a huge difference. And that really made a huge difference in all the players' lives that he was a part of. And seeing their consecutive success, his model, which is very known in today's time as the pyramid of success, that model now is adopted by many teams and even in corporate lives for leadership management. How it's important to follow these kind of pyramid success for helping another individual grow. I believe a person like this in everyone's life is something that we all long for. But not every one of us are blessed with it, so we all need to go with that search to get that right person who will help us take that leap in life, where we will be successful in life. And I believe for an individual who is successful, they would credit their entire success to that very coach. And according to me, that very coach will be the reason for that person's heartbeat. That is the way I take this thing. So in your journey of life, we all need right coaches. Look around, you will get the right person who will take you forward in life. I can say I'm very fortunate to be a part of an organization and fraternity that they are amazing coaches and mentors who guides us how to move arms in life. At least that has been my experience. A lot of people know here when I came first time onto the stage and today who I am, there is a huge difference. So as much as I believe John Wooden's story, I believe it is true because I do see the same in my own life. And I would urge all of you to please look around and find the right person who can take you forward. The next person who I would like to also talk about is someone who pays a lot of attention to detail. His trait or characteristics of paying attention to detail is what got him being today a very successful entrepreneur. He is a chartered accountant and he is a trainer and been very successful in all these three segments of his life because he takes a lot of advice. He does have specific people who he believes are his right coaches and he takes those individual advices and that has made bounds of difference in those three different areas that he pays a lot of attention. He is none other, our immediate past president, the Toastmaster of today's meeting, Toastmaster Shashank Bhat.
When she said, please welcome immediate past president, Toastmaster Shashank Bhat, I was actually expecting a bigger round of applause. You know what happens when someone comes on stage? As Vishal said, the heart rate or the heartbeat will be pounding. And just imagine this, one big round of applause when you walk towards the stage. If you hear this, your heartbeat will stabilize. So, will you be the reason to stabilize others' heartbeat today? Yes. That's the thumb rule for today. As a TMOD, the first rule of this meeting is when any speaker comes on stage, I want you to give the loudest and thunderous round of applause so that it will calm them down and you can give your best to whoever comes on stage. With that, thank you Madam President for the lovely introduction. Good evening fellow Toastmasters and dear guests. Good evening. As the theme says, be the reason for someone's heartbeat. We can interpret in two different things. When you say heartbeat, that is for others or someone to live or survive. But the second thing is the way you live. Right? So you can interpret it two different ways. How has it changed me as a person? I remember sharing this incident probably a few months ago on the same stage. In the year 2014, when I just graduated, I went to help my friend whose father had contested the elections in the previous year and could not write his exams. When I went to help him to his house, I saw his younger brother about to sleep. When I checked with the younger brother, don't you have the exams the next day? He said, yes, I am struggling to find ways to pass half an hour in the exam hall. And then I told my friend, you have exam the following day, so let me help your friend. It took me 2 hours to just teach him corporate accounting subject. And guess what? Probably the results were out. He called me and he started praising me and he told me it's because of you he passed. He got 61 out of 100. And when we met him, he even rolled a few 1,000 rupee notes. Back then, he offered it to me. It's not about the money here. It's about the acknowledgement of the effort as well. And that spark, what he ignited in me, made me a trainer and made me who I am today. Maybe I didn't know that training is my passion and profession. But that spark which ignited me, I'm thankful for him and I'm here successful today because of him. Similarly, all of us have reasons to thank others. And they have probably reasons to thank us. I will give you 20 seconds here in this room to just think about someone who has helped you or shaped your career. Just take 20 seconds. I want you just to think about someone. 20 seconds. What would I want you to do next? I will not be asking you, don't worry. But I want you to just go back home and just text that person. No need to say thank you. Just ask about how they were. How you're doing, long time no see. Some conversational message, and you will see the change that brings in them. Right? Because when you have helped others or when someone has helped you, sometimes it talks about an unspoken obligation to help as well. And that obligation can make the other person help. And imagine how would life be when you help each other out in terms of need. Yes? Now let me take a different perspective here. The person who set the theme, be the reason for someone's heartbeat. Let me check with our VP Education, Toastmaster Jose Paul, whom has he to thank for and the reason why he selected this theme. Toastmaster Jose?
It's not the reason for selecting the theme. The reason for selecting the theme is of course related to the World Blood Donors Day. But one person I think I should really thank is one of the founders of our club, Peter Rannorey, who is a good friend of mine and who introduced me to Toastmasters. I think I should be grateful forever for what he's done. It's changed my life.
And you are round of applause. Can you relate to Toastmaster Jose? I definitely can. The reason why I am here today, I think I give the success to all the members of this club as well. Because 2.5 years ago when I walked in the room, I was sitting in the last row with my cousin. I didn't expect to be here standing and speaking in front of you. I'm still an introvert. Till the members came to me, spoke to me, that sparked the interest in me in joining this club, and it brought out the leadership abilities as well, and my speaking abilities went multiple level higher. Right? So thank you for being part of my successful life. I owe the credit to all the members of this club as well. We have one more reason to thank someone from Toastmasters. That is Dr. Ralph C. Smedley, the founders of the Toastmasters movement. He started the first Toastmasters Club in the year 1924. Yes, 100 years. We're celebrating 100 years this year. And when he saw that there was dearth of leaders and public speakers, he started this movement called Toastmasters. And I think at this stage, at this point in time, I think all of us are here because of him, just to appreciate his efforts as well, because he wanted to see all-round improvement as well. Yes? Now, in a typical Toastmasters meeting, for the benefit of the guests, there are 3 segments. First segment is the prepared speech segment. What happens in a prepared speech segment? The member who delivers the speech here will come prepared based on some path, some level and projects to deliver a prepared speech. We have 3 speakers here today. We will talk about that a little later. Second segment is something called as table topics or the impromptu speaking session. The member will be called on stage, a topic will be given and you have to speak on spot, impromptu. This will develop your thinking skills as well. And the third element of the Toastmasters meeting is the evaluation segment, which will help us to listen more. And in evaluation, what happens? Every speaker and role taker who comes on stage will be evaluated by someone called as the general evaluator, who will evaluate the entire proceedings and submit his report towards the end of the meeting. I'll introduce the general evaluator when his turn comes on stage, but the general evaluator for today is Toastmaster Aranha. Can you give a round of applause for Toastmaster Aranha? The general evaluator is not alone. He is assisted by 3 members called as the tag team, the timer, the counter and the grammarian. The timer for today is someone who would like to thank his mentor, and the mentor always goes with Prakarsh, Toastmaster Prakarsh every week from the Toastmasters Club, and during the conversations the member always pushes the Toastmaster, the timer for today, to improve constantly, and he thanks his mentor whenever he meets him and whenever he tells me that I am here today because of my mentor. And who's the mentor? mentor is Toastmaster Kumar, and the timer for today, we'll read out the timer's guidelines. Please put your hands together to welcome Toastmaster Prakarsh Anand.
Good evening, my dear Toastmasters and guests.
Good evening.
Good evening. What's the most precious thing you can share with somebody? Time. I also thought that because I am the timer for today, but I think it's blood. I encourage all of you on this occasion of World Blood Donors Day to be the reason for someone's heartbeat and donate blood. Coming back to my timer beauty, we have spectacular speeches today, and let me remind the speakers about their time limit. As per the prepared speeches, I'll hold up the green card at 5 minutes, yellow card at 6, and red card at 7 minutes. We have an icebreaker speech today. I'll hold up the green card at 6 minutes, yellow card at 5 minutes, and red card at 6 minutes. For the table topics, I will hold the green card at 1 minute, 1.5 yellow card, and 2 minutes red card. I will be munificent and give 30 seconds of grace time to all the speakers, after which I will ring the bell twice. That will mean disqualification of their speech. At the end of the meeting, I will give back my report to the general evaluator.
Thank you. Continuing in line with the theme of acknowledging someone's help, the arc counter for today, when America refused him, when he had nowhere to go, his colleague from Korean Airlines back then, Venkatesh CV, bought him a plane ticket to Australia, and he thanks that person who actually shaped his career, and he owes his career to that person. Please put your hands together to welcome Toastmaster Mahaboobulla Khan as our conference.
Good evening. Good evening to all. Oh, it did not hurt R, but I'm the R counter. As an R counter, I will be listening very carefully to use of all vocal pauses and crutch words such as repetitive words or phrases. I will keep track of everyone, I mean literally everyone, and report at the end of the meeting on who best controlled the words during their speeches. The evaluation will start at the beginning, and at the end of the meeting I will give my judgment. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Mahaboobulla Khan. The grammarian for today. I think if she is here sitting in front of us today with a valid degree, it's because of a friend who helped her pass the final exams. Right? So she always thinks about her friend when she prepares the resume, because it's only because of that friend of hers. So please put your hands together to welcome the grammarian Toastmaster Hannah Victoria. Thank you, Toastmaster Hannah. I also want to know what happened after the marriage, so we'll discuss that later. Magnificent became magnificent. Yes. Good round of applause. Yes, now let us begin the prepared speech segment. Before I call the first speaker, I would request the first speaker to please get ready with the mics. The evaluator for the first speaker is someone who would like to thank her brothers, the elder brothers, who inculcated this habit of helping anyone in need. And this has led her to help anyone, and I think we have seen a lot of her help in our club as well, helping each other out and helping others in terms of need. Please put your hands together to welcome the evaluator for the first speaker, Toastmaster Rashi, to read out the guidelines.
A very good evening to each and all of you present here. The purpose of this project is for the member to introduce themselves to the club and learn the basic structure of a public speech. All the best to this.
Thank you. The first speaker will be presenting his icebreaker speech. That is the first ever speech in this Toastmasters platform, prepared speech that is. He is one of the fastest Rubik's cube. That is, he can solve Rubik's cubes at lightning speeds, starting with 2 by 2 and 6 by 6 as well. There are many more interesting things about him, but I will not be sharing that with you, because he is coming here to introduce himself in front of all of us. Please put your hands together to welcome Toastmaster Ujyant Ramesh.
It's fine, it's fine.
Imagine being on a battlefield without any ammunition, without any guns, without any equipment at all, and the only thing that you do have is your willpower, your desire, your strength to win both the battles on the field as well as the battles in your mind. This has also been my journey in my life, as I've battled multiple different obstacles. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and dear guests.
Good evening.
As a 23-year-old, I always wanted to join the armed forces, particularly the US Navy SEALs. Now, how did this really happen? I basically was a fan of a lot of video games. I would play with Call of Duty and Medal of Honor, where they were all where soldiers dressed in ghillie suits and camouflages, running around the battlefield, saving hostages, killing terrorists and so forth. And that was a simple fascination for me. Everybody spoke about becoming astronauts, engineers and lawyers. But for me, it was the armed forces, and well, thanks to video games, surprisingly. And that dream only became better when I joined my NCC unit in Jain University. I had a staggering 18% attendance. That was not the good part. The good part was how I prepared myself for the NDA exams. I completed tons of trekking camps, adventure sports, many things, from skiing to cycling expeditions, a lot of these other things. And I had a simple dream: join the armed forces. But you see, life works in mysterious ways for everybody, and so I had a twist in mind as well. For me, the issue was I skipped a lot of medical, issues which I will not really reveal back in the days of my NCC testing. And because of that, I realized these were causes for my permanent rejection. And so 2018 to 2022, during my degree, I had the worst days of my life, some of the darkest days of my life. I was in a state of depression, rolling into a complete spiral as I had really bad dietary habits, no exercises, none of that sort. And as I told you, I was an avid gamer, and that became even worse during the pandemic, when I had something called grinding sessions where you play from 10 p.m. to 3 a.m. in the night. This is exactly what I did for every single day. And one day, I had an amazingly divine intervention by God, where God said, okay, I think this man's not going to change, I will change him. And I had a seizure. That was a horrible episode, and this particular neurological event turned my life completely upside down. And I served jail time, as I like to call it, wherein I had a lot of restrictions. Anything to do with flashing lights, cars, partying, everything that I actually loved, driving cars and partying, I was restricted. There was nothing of that sort that I could do. You see, while I was actually very frustrated in life, at the back of my mind I was actually gaining a lot of experiences which would later shape who I became. And so I looked at myself in terms of my photographs a year later, and I realized, okay, this is not really me. This is somebody totally different. Looking at who I was a few years back versus who I am today, this is somebody totally different. And I did the most generic thing possible, which I don't think anybody else should. That is watching YouTube videos, where I literally searched titles saying hustle and motivation videos. And guess what I found? Michael Jordan and Nick Vujicic videos. You know what the problem is? These are really good videos, but the actual problem is I myself have watched it 20 times, and I think everybody in this stage, in this platform today, has watched it at least 20 times. My college chancellor, my father, every single person has told me about it. It didn't motivate me one bit. I just had some adrenaline rush. And the other issue was, I only exercised for a very short period because of this adrenaline rush. And I call this my spider sense when it comes to my love for, biryani and like chicken kebab and beer and all of these things. I really call that my spider sense. Every time I smell that, I look at that, my spider sense starts tingling. This is how it always works for me. So the issue is that because of this, as an avid football fan and a gamer, this is essentially fuel for anybody. Without these, you can't really enjoy matches. Same thing with gaming. Without a beer, when I'm gaming, I couldn't really do it. I used to really suck at gaming as well. That's how my life literally was. Until one day, I realized I was part of a speech which was not even related to anything to do with motivation, but it had a simple quote by Virat Kohli saying consistency is boring. And I realized that the biggest problem in my life was I would just watch these videos and have these small spikes of adrenaline rush and dopamine rush, and they were too much. I wasn't consistent in my efforts, which is why I faced issues. And therefore I realized consistency was the key. Virat Kohli was right. It was not one boring interview, but actually a philosophy that you had to inculcate in life. And fast forward years later, I lost around 10 kgs. I ran my first ever 10K in over 3 years and motivated my entire society, my brother who doesn't even live here, who lives abroad, and right now, as of today, both of us aim to complete our first half marathon this year. As I have my mindset has become contagious to the entire family. And this is not any random story that I tell you. I am a PR professional, and for me, crafting these amazing, compelling narratives, these motivational speeches as such, is part and parcel of my job. It is my bread and butter, which is why I am doing it here for you as well today. And at work, I do it for really big brands such as Dell Technologies and Tinder, some of the best names in the business. And you see, life can throw a lot of challenges at you, but how you deal with them is what defines you. And you see, I might not have been in uniform, but even then I faced multiple different battles in my own battlefields across various stages of my life. And that is the story, and that is the title of my speech, that is Living a Regimental Life Beyond a Regiment. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Ujyant. I don't think he broke the ice, he shattered the ice today. Yes. For the benefit of the guests, when a member presents his first ever speech or icebreaker speech, it's a tradition at Toastmasters to give the member a standing ovation so that they are extra motivated to present the second and third speeches as well. Yes. Now, moving on to the second speech. Before I introduce the speaker, let me introduce the evaluator to the second speaker. The evaluator loves to travel, but you hardly find him traveling. Reason being, he's too lazy to plan for it. Software engineer by profession and working as a cyber security consultant. Please put your hands together to welcome Evaluator 2, Toastmaster Srinivas Vungarala.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters. The purpose of this project is for the member to practice using vocal variety and body language to enhance their speech.
Thank you. Please note, this evaluation will also be evaluated by another evaluator. We'll come to that a little later. It's part of a project. Speaker number 2 for today. I know him well because I was his mentor during the Speechcraft days. And one thing which he has shared with me is that when he joined the company after his graduation, he didn't know what to do. He wanted to leave the company. But guess whom he approached regarding this? He spoke to his own boss. And the boss actually recommended him to join elsewhere. He recommended a good, better company. But that quality of his boss to go out of the way to help this person, he appreciated him, and he continued in the same company as a gesture towards his boss. Please put your hands together to welcome the ever-smiling Toastmaster Srinivas V. Next, do a quick audio video check. Please repeat after me. It's a pleasant evening this Friday.
check 1, 2, 3.
Thank you very much. Toastmaster Srinivas, the unexpected journey, Toastmaster Srinivas.
Last December 2023, on a Saturday afternoon, I was watching a movie with my family. After the movie, when I looked at my phone, there was a 12 missed calls waiting for my attention. Both because of my boss and my customer, setting the stage for our expectations. Then immediately I called up my boss and asked him, "Yes sir." He said, "Hey Srinivas, you need to go to Chennai today. At 5:30 there is a flight. The customer needs an immediate assistance in person."
So I went back to home and started packing. And there is a raining heavily outside. I took my mobile phone and booking an Ola to the airport. It has been 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. No cab driver has accepted my ride. Luckily, one person accepted. I called him and I messaged him. He said, "Sir, mara bidogide inna arda gante agute." It was kind of shocking. I need to reach the airport within 2 hours. Normally people say we need to reach the airport 2 hours before. But I was still at home. I tried Uber. In 5 minutes again, nobody is taking the call. And then I decided to take my Apache RTR to the airport. Yes, I took my Apache RTR to the airport. Throughout my journey, it was continuously drizzling. As I reached there, when I looked at my clock, it's showing I have very few minutes to spare. I don't know what to do. And then went to the security gate, asking, I have flight in another few minutes. Luckily, he allowed, went inside, and then looked at, there was a very long queue. Guess what? It's for the boarding pass. Then I started excusing everybody. "Excuse me sir, I have a flight in another 2 minutes, can you give me your friend?" "Excuse me ma'am, can I go forward?" Somehow managed, and some people allowed, some people didn't allow. Got my boarding pass, immediately went up to the security gate. At that moment of time, I heard the final boarding call. There is a final boarding call to Mr. Srinivas V, flight number AI295, Bangalore to Chennai. The gates will be closed soon. Immediately, I took my boots and belts and bag, ran barefootedly to the airport. Just in lack of time, I reached inside. As the gratitude paid off. So my flight took off, and then, as my heart began to calm, there is a shocking wave from the pilot. He said, "There is a heavy rain at Chennai, our landing will be delayed." I said, "Okay, landing is going to delay for 5-10 minutes. It went on, and then one point of time, I first time witnessed in my life passengers donning oxygen mask. At that moment of time, it felt like better not to go to Chennai. I should have missed the flight. But luckily, what felt eternity, the metal bird touches the ground. With the passengers erupted in cheers, congratulating the pilot and the cabin crew. Entirely later, I came to know that our flight was the last flight to reach the airport. Somehow managed to went to airport, hotel nearby, then had my dinner, and then slept. Around 4 a.m. in the morning, I started hearing screamings of other fellow travelers. "Oh God, help me! Oh God, help me!" I don't know what is happening. As soon as I wake up, I felt my bed is floating on the floods. My mobile phone is submerged inside water. I don't know what to do. Then immediately, all of our co-passengers, fellow travelers, went to the other floors. It has been a few minutes, then the sun started rising. People have become more positive about it. As soon as by the time the rain stopped, and then it has made all the damages it could cause. Then we started helping people, moving to nearby shelters and providing foods and main importantly, the drinking water. After that, we waited for some moment, and then a lot of people gathered around and they started helping each other.
then I realized the true essence of Chennai is not about monuments, world's second largest speech, a British colonial linguistic language, or the nice idli vada sambar. It is on the resilience of the people, the hearts of the people who try to help each other. My journey could be different, but what made me write that get to know about the people in the middle of chores. With that, I learned it is not about anything. It is about the resilience and kind of actions what you show towards others. It is main important to become a better person. Over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Srinivas. I still have a dream. The flight attendants or someone who in charge of the flight is calling me and saying this is the last and final call for Shashank to board the plane. But I don't think that will ever happen to me, and it should happen to me. But anyways, that's a scary experience when you're late and there is a delay, unexpected delay. Moving on to the third speaker. The evaluator for the third speaker is someone who owes his life to his neighbor. Because of the neighbor, he is alive here today. During his childhood days, when he was running across the street to catch his school bus, he came across another bus, and that grumpy, tough neighbor actually pulled him from under the bus to save him. So while others consider him grumpy and tough, he actually finds him very affectionate and helpful. Passionate writer and working in a company called Shetty. Please put your hands together to welcome Toastmaster Shetty. The next speaker is a movie buff. He loves Bollywood and Bollywood movies as well. In fact, he wanted to become an automobile engineer when he watched the movie. He did not eventually. But someone who loves driving, going on long drives, and to play his guitar. He worked as a consultant in EY, now preparing for his chartered accountancy exam coming up shortly. Please put your hands together to welcome Toastmaster Varun Chhapia. Let's do an audio check. Please repeat after me. It's a pleasant evening today.
It's a pleasant evening today.
Is it audible?
Yes, it's pleasant.
Yes. Toastmaster Varun, those were the days. Those were the days, Toastmaster Varun.
Those were the days. All of us wish to go back to our school and college days, right?
Yes.
Yes. So waking up at 6, getting ready by 7, leave for school, have fun time at school with your friends, up until we graduated from school and college. This was our life. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and dear guests.
Good evening.
Like I mentioned, how our life was way before we entered into the real world, it was almost carefree. It's after college that most of us take our life very seriously. Yet, there is a child inside each one of us who we hide. However, once you are with your friends, your old study buddies, no matter where, be it at home or a restaurant or on a trip, you talk about your fun moments, the mischievous things you did. You're back to being that same 10, 15-year-old around them. Then the next minute, while driving back home, you think about work the next day, and I'm going to get yelled by my boss the next day, have to work, sit in front of the system, send this email, that email to my clients, and you go into a completely different zone altogether. The other day, about a month back, I was walking down to the Chinnaswamy Stadium from Kalkundri Metro to purchase match tickets to RCB versus CSK. As I was walking, I saw 3 guys leaving the stadium with their cricket kit bag on their shoulders, reminding me of the missed opportunity I had to play there just because of my age. Anyway, I entered the stadium, went to the room where they were distributing the tickets.
First, I headed the reception to inquire about the place where they were distributing the tickets. They told me to wait outside as the room was right next to the reception. Since there was nothing to do, I started reading about the history of the cricket club. When was it built? Who built it? When was the first match played? Who inaugurated it? As I was reading, I overheard two young boys talk about how their summer vacations are about to end and they have to start going to school once it reopens. We have all been there, haven't we? One day before the school reopens is one of the worst days you can possibly have. Setting your timetable, filling water bottles, ironing your clothes. I heard this and I wanted to tell the boys that, listen boys, you live these days, you enjoy these days to the fullest because you are never getting them back. But I stopped myself because I knew if I say something, their reply would be, Uncle, don't give us gun. Please, you won't understand our pain. I started laughing when I played this in my head because I would have said this same exact thing when they would say this, when the adults in my age would say the same exact thing. There have been many instances where we think about time as teenagers, yeah? But summer vacation holds one of the fondest memories. You wake up at 6, go to your summer camp, and you don't need your mother to wake you up when it comes to doing what you love. Whereas on other days, Varun, wake up, you're going to get late. Wake up, you're going to miss the school bus. Yeah, right home, please, yeah. Listen, I'm going to count to 3. And if you're not up by then, I'm going to give you a piece of my mind. 1, 2, good morning, Mom. So, by the count of 2, I was up and I opened the door to wish my mom. Because I knew if she reached 3, what is going to hold for, what is going to await me. Yes, so I was talking about your summer vacations where you wake up at 6, go to your summer camp, and then come back home, finish your summer vacation projects, and then again go down to play with your apartment friends. Now that we think back, this is how we spent our time during summer vacations. How many of you here have heard of Doraemon, the character, cartoon character? How many of you have watched? Yeah. Anyone here, have you ever wished that, man, what if I had a time machine? Yeah. I really wish to go back in time. I want to do this, I want to do that. Look at the question papers to see what kind of questions will be asked in exams. Go to Narendra Modi Stadium on 19th November. Beg Rohit Sharma, sir, please 10 run aa gaye hain. Please don't play that shot. We know we are never going to get that back. Right? All we can do is reminisce and tell ourselves, wo din bhi kya din the. I'm sure everyone here must have heard of this cliche. Being an adult is hard. Shouldering the responsibilities, living up to the expectations, etc. Which is good in a way. This is what truly builds your character. But once in a while, I say, don't take yourself so seriously. And just live freely without having a fear of judgment. Back to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Varun. Absolutely, those were the days. I still remember when I was young, a small child, small kid, dozing off on the couch, on the floor, and miraculously waking up on the bed in the morning. Those were the days. With that, we have come to the end of the prepared speech segment. We'll take a 5-minute bio break for the benefit of the guests. The washroom is to the right here, and take a right again. You'll find the washroom downstairs. We'll meet exactly in 5 minutes after the bio break. Thank you. Welcome back. We are here for the second segment, which is the table topics. So the impromptu segment. To talk, tell you more about the impromptu segment, which is a table topic segment, we have someone called as a table topic master to organize this segment. And this person, when he wanted to change bogies of a train some time back, he got down from the bogie and he was about to board the other one, but no one opened the doors because they assumed he was a dacoit. But one gentleman looked at him and thought he is not a dacoit. He opened the doors, and which led to him catch the train, or else he would be stuck in the middle of nowhere. So that he always appreciates the things about the person whenever he boards the train next. And guess what he does when he drives cars? He looks at the other number plates, he counts the numbers of the number plate, and guess what he does with that? Add and nothing. Just to be occupied, keep himself occupied during driving, he counts the numbers just for his satisfaction. Please put your hands together to welcome the table topic master for today, Toastmaster Vijay Kalkundri.
So often when we go out with our friends or family for a party to a hotel, so there can be either of these two situations. So we either plan, go to that hotel, order, eat, pay, and go out. It's just like a prepared speech, where you have an objective, prepare, give a speech here, and go back to your place. But there are instances in our life when we go to somewhere else, like Priyanka plans to go to Chhapia for shopping, or some of our friends go to commercial for shopping, and then they end up going to a quick eatery where they quickly look at the menu, order something, eat, and then move on. Table topic session is just like that, where you are given a topic, you just have a few minutes, order, you come here, and I am your chef for today who is going to serve you what you are going to do. So today, what is the change? Like, so here are the names of people who may be called on stage. So what I want you guys to do is, you either sit at the aisles, come at the front, so that you have very less time moving from your place to here. I give you 30 seconds for that. Okay. Thank you everyone. So today our table topic session, we are going to divide into various segments how our dishes are served in the hotel. So first set of 3 topics will be called starters. So let's begin at a very mild note. The first speaker to come on stage is going to speak on topic, you are a boss, and address the employees that there is no pay increase this year. And to speak on this, can we have on stage Toastmaster Kumar?
high raise. In fact, so sometimes there are years when the business is slow, whereas sometimes there are financial years where we're doing really well. So that doesn't mean that this year, if the raise is not great, it doesn't mean that you lose hope. You'd still be, we can still definitely try to compensate in the next year. And that doesn't mean that all your efforts that you will put in this year have gone wasted. That has been taken in account, and that will be taken care of.
Thank you, Toastmaster. I saw some people nodding. I think some people are convinced and they are not ready to take hikes. So with that, we move on to the next topic, and the next topic is for the person who is going to speak on the topic. You are the kid. Convince your mother for allowing you to eat ice cream on a rainy day. To speak on this, let me call on stage Dr. Nisha.
Who doesn't love ice creams? Everybody does, and so do I. But of late, I have not been having ice cream so much for two reasons. One is sugars, which I don't like, and then I don't have dairy products anymore. But yes, sure, I will definitely help somebody, or if a kid he wants to have an ice cream, I will definitely be on this side. Or if I am a kid and my mom is not allowing me to have an ice cream, I will just tell my mom, convince, and make all false promises. Whatever my mom wanted me to do in my life, whatever I never obliged her, or I promise her that tomorrow I'll just sweep the house, or Mom, I will just take care of your residents, or I'll take care of the guests, I will just entertain your guests, but please let me have this ice cream because I just love it. And I'll make you also eat. You sneakily eat one ice cream and have fun. So please, Mom, let me have ice cream. Thank you.
Amazing talk, I'm sure. It's so much rational, and I think mother will definitely agree with you. Ice cream. So with that, we move on to the third topic. The third topic is a very interesting one. You are a PG owner of a ladies' PG. Address the inmates to maintain silence and not disturb the neighboring houses. To speak on this, can I call on stage Toastmaster Girish?
Hi, good evening, Toastmasters and dear guests. Good evening. So, really with this topic, I was not so happy when I saw Mahaboobulla. I'm so happy to see this. I'm really convinced I'm not the person for this topic. But still, let me try out. Yeah? So, I am a owner of a PG for a ladies' PG, and I have to convince them to be silent so that they don't disturb neighbors. I think the right idea probably what I could think of is I would probably open up a gym in the ground floor of this PG, and then I would probably say, hey ladies, nobody would not make any noise. Probably you would have the best choice to choose one of those friends of mine as your boyfriend. Provided if that is not satisfying to them, I would also say, I could also enable you guys so that they can drop you or pick up you. You could also look for part-time boyfriends out of them. So these are all the facilities. I hope with this, they would be really convinced not to make any sound. So with this, I will go back to you.
Thank you, Girish, and I think there was convincing points. move on to the next segment of the platter, like I got like something called spicy chili food. So next three topics are going to like think and like on the current affairs. So the next topic is why the cost of pen drives have gone high in recent times. To speak on this, can I call on stage Toastmaster Puri?
Ladies and gentlemen, members and guests, I think we have all gotten scammed. Our devices have become more and more slim by the year. They've become lighter, they've become sleek, but they have lost their ability to store. How many of us get bothered by those constant notifications out of storage on our email platforms, on our devices, on our laptops? It's unbelievable that we have such an expensive, high-powered device in our pocket, but it can't store much. And as our lives expands, we have memories, events, constant communication. We can't help but have a need for more storage. What an opportunity for the industry of pen drives to constantly give you higher and higher storage options in smaller and smaller packets. This week, after years of using Apple, I decided to finally upgrade to the 200 GB iCloud storage. And in 5 minutes, I lost my 100 GB backup data from Jio. Because everything got uploaded in one shot. And by the evening, I was already at 170 GB. And this was just me, I hadn't even shared it with my family. So I believe the cost of pen drive is only going to rise. Our memories have a price. Our data has a price. Not just once it's outside of your device, but while it is still with us. So I can't advise you to use it wisely, but I can tell you, please buy a pen drive. Because you will need one pretty soon. Thank you. Back to you.
Thank you, Puneet. That was a very nice talk. I'm sure you're going to try if you're able to buy a pen drive. So with that, we move on to the next topic. The next topic is, you have gone to Pune to a car showroom and you see a Porsche which meant an accident is of sale for 3 lakhs. So now you have to make a decision whether to buy that Porsche or not. So now you are going to come and speak here on why and what you can do during the session. To speak on this, can I call Toastmaster Shreya?
We literally could have possibly picked the worst person to buy a car. So the only thing that comes in my mind if I hear a teenager driving a Porsche is that Pune incident, and so that definitely won't be me. As I don't have, I'm telling you now, no general disclaimer, I don't have license for the two-wheeler already, and if you're wondering when will I get the license for four-wheeler, then it's like, when there'll be cars flying, it's like that time. That will be the age when I'll get the license for the car. So if that is the case, then definitely not a Porsche. I'll be having a four-seater Nano, perhaps. Because that is my size. So I like to drive things that are my size. And over to you.
Okay, so with that, we move on to a section which I call my soothing. So the next speaker to come on stage will speak on topic who has to tell us which is the king of fruits. Is it mango or jackfruit? To speak on this, can I call on stage Toastmaster Chaitra? Right to the mango and left to the jackfruit.
summer really brings to you thoughts of delicious food, especially fruits like mangoes and jackfruits. Now I went to Kerala this summer and I had my fill of diabetes causing fruits. And it's quite tough to choose between jackfruit and mango, to be fair. But I was sitting there at my uncle's house and watching him cut the jackfruit. Now you know how painful that is? You have to take a cleaver to, chop it up, and then you have to take out the small, the pulp out in pieces. You have to oil your hand and make sure that you don't get any of the sticky stuff on your clothes, or your clothes will forever be stained. So considering that, my vote will actually go to mangoes, because mangoes are so much more easy to deal with, right? They are delicious. Jackfruits, they come in only, one kind of taste. Maybe, there might be a small difference of taste between varieties. But with mangoes, you can actually organize, different varieties and go from one end of the table to the other end of the table. And every single mango you eat would be so deliciously different. So yes, I hope everyone here agrees that mangoes are truly the king of fruits.
I think you are right. Mangoes are definitely the king of fruits. So it was very convincing. So with that, we move on to the next topic, and the next topic is, I'm not too old, but not that young as well. To speak on this topic, let me call Toastmaster Fish.
Okay, good evening Toastmasters and dear guests.
Good evening.
So, I will not give my right age, but most of you can guess by looking at me. So, I'm not that old to not play around with the kids or not go around with the family and everything. But I'm not that young wherein I can just freak around with the kids without being responsible. So, it is like I'm of a middle age where I have the responsibilities to take care of the family and to play with the kids and take care of the kids' schoolings and everything, but not old enough to give advices to people giving around gyans, which most of the old people are seemingly doing. And kids, yeah, but it is really difficult for a person in the middle age who is stuck in the maybe late 30s, 40s to be like a kid and not having responsibility. Thank you.
Nice take being young versus old. It's a perspective. With this, we move on to the next section, what I call personalized section. Amazing section. The first topic is people drink and smoke for a few days and get addicted. I am studying since nursery, but still I am not good at studying. To speak on this, can we call us this Toastmaster once?
Good evening, Toastmasters, dear guests, and topic master.
Good evening.
I've been studying since nursery, and guess what? Every time I start one thing, I learn it again, and yet it's just not registered today. Like, I don't know what is my issue. my tutor comes and explains this math problem to me, and I kind of understand in front of him. So I say, yeah, and I also want him to go so that I can watch TV or play with my friends. But as soon as he goes, obviously it's gone out of my head, and clearly it's not registered. I don't remember one bit of it. So like that, since nursery, going on and on, I'm trying to listen to what people are saying, but it's not getting into my head. So when I crossed the age of 18, someone told me, you can drink, but it's not really good for you. You know, you can also smoke, but it's injurious to health. And anything beyond that, don't even think about it. But I don't know why it's still not registering. Do I have a problem? Or is it all so exciting and enticing that we just like forget about our responsibilities, we forget about what is the right thing to do, because we just want to have a good time, don't we? So I think a little bit of drinking is fine. Smoking, sometimes don't do it too much, but otherwise it's fine to also sometimes listen to people, but do whatever you want to do.
So with that, we move on to the next topic. Again, an interesting one. A rabbit runs, jumps, and lives only for 50 years, while a turtle does nothing, lives for 3 years. So to speak on this topic, can I have on stage Toastmaster
That was.
Good evening, Toastmasters and dear guests.
Good evening. Good evening.
Yeah, of course, a turtle just, we know the speed at which it goes, but possibly that's the reason why maybe its heart beats but that much more slower, and that's the reason why it lives longer. Whereas a rabbit, we know how fast it moves, and its heart rate also is as rapid or beats as fast as it runs, and that's the reason why it has a short life. But then, if given a choice, I think I would prefer to be a rabbit, because I would prefer to be active and do the best that I can in the short life that I have, rather than live a long life hardly doing anything. I think I would love to go see the world, and I can't do it at a turtle's pace. So I think it's rabbit's pace that would work for whatever I have plans to do in the short life. So I would definitely live like a rabbit than as a turtle. As they say, it is the number of years, it's not the number of years that you live, but the number of years that you put into that short life that you have. So I think I would go with any time being a rabbit than as a turtle.
Sure, after your reviews, you have your past and place, so you can have it over turtle. So with that, we move on to the next topic. It says, laziness is your biggest enemy. But one great person said that always love your enemy. To speak on this topic, let me call on stage Toastmaster Vijay.
Now they say laziness is your biggest enemy, but you should also love your enemy. Raise your hand if anybody here loves your enemy.
Laziness.
No, your enemy. So I don't think that you can really love your enemy. If you can really love your enemy, then you're certainly not fit to stay on earth. You would obviously attain nirvana if you had already loved your enemy. But laziness can be your enemy. That is for sure. Laziness to not show up at this door at 6:30 perhaps is an enemy. Laziness to keep watching this and not read a book perhaps is your enemy. Laziness to not wake up in the morning and exercise and looking at yourself in the mirror and wondering how you are, probably your own enemy. So I think there are a lot of enemies that you have, not outside but probably within yourself. Raise your hand if you recognize that enemy. Yeah, you do. See, so many people recognize the enemy. So now you have to wonder now whether you hate yourself or love yourself. Now you tell me whether you want to love your enemy or hate your enemy. What do you want to do? Love your enemy. What do?
They not have no enemies. So with that, we move on to our next section. It's like like hot round, like we represent down the tabletop session. So the next speaker to come on stage will talk on this topic. Life's tragedy is that you get old too soon and wise too late. To speak on this topic, let me call on stage Toastmaster Chiran. Life's tragedy is you get old too soon and wise too late.
Okay, I think he was pointing it out, that thing, the last one, why is too late. Okay, old too soon and wise too late, right? I think wise too late is probably for me, and old too soon, I don't think I'm too old enough to consider that, old too soon. The thing is, like, whenever the wiseness, it is not, it's not something that people can teach you about. It's only the thing is like you have to inculcate by your surroundings or the way of life and all those things. And what can teach you? Only the time. Whenever you consume time, that is your lifespan, like generally when you consider your age gap, so whenever you consume that, like you are getting old. And it's a natural process, like whenever you get old, like you are getting wiser. Because you are able to receive more as much as, like, once if I have like if you can consider a fresh sponge and a water. So once, like, if you put a sponge, it doesn't absorb the water instantly. It takes time. Whenever it starts to seep in, it absorbs more. So you are built like that, so that, like, when things are going around you, so you don't actually absorb them at the initial stages of your life. You will always say that, okay, I know everything. But once you start to know, like, you have some gap in your life and you have to fill it in to live in this society, then, like, you will always start to observe, grasp it more. So in this process, normally what happens, like, you are running out of your time, and everyone feels that, trust me, that you are too old and you got this knowledge, and you always believe that if I had this 5 or 10 years back, I would have been somewhere else. But only the thing is, opportunity being open up to you. So that is what the saying goes: old fast and wise late. Over to you.
Let's say it like a sponge in younger days when you go wise early. So with that, we move on to the next topic, and the next topic is be yourself. Everyone else is taken, and to speak on this, let me call on stage Toastmaster Rashi. So can I call on stage Toastmaster George?
So, be yourself. So just 1 month back, I had to give the presentation to the expert panel, and before that I need to do a lot of dry runs for the different executives before I present myself to the final expert panel on my expert assessment. There was a 10 minutes of presentation, 10 minutes of Q&A. In 10 minutes of presentation in the dry run,
They've given a different feedback to adopt my presentation, to include their feedbacks. So many different people have given different feedback and adopted my voice modularity, everything. Finally, one of the experts, before I went to the final assessment, he told, be yourself. Otherwise, it will not be natural. You will be taking it off. So, at the end of the day, it's my presentation, it's my technical presentation, and I given the presentation as I was myself with a full consciousness what I am, and finally I cleared it. So, being ourselves is very important. That shows the genuine, the natural, and what I am. So, I strongly believe to be ourselves.
Let me move to the next topic, which says that expect the best, prepare for the worst, capitalize on whatever comes. To speak on this, can I call the guest for today, Eric? Expect the best. Prepare for the worst. Capitalize on whatever comes. Capitalize on whatever comes.
Okay, this is quite surprised. We didn't expect to come up on stage today, but I feel short enough. It's always important for you to expect the best. I feel like it's the other way around. You always have to expect the worst, prepare yourself for the worst. Read the topic, please.
Prepare for the worst. Prepare for the worst.
Expect the best, prepare for the worst.
Capitalize on whatever comes.
Capitalize on what comes. Firstly, it's really important that you consider the situation that's ahead of you, and it's important that you whenever you take a look at the situation in front of you, you have to look at it in a way where it can go the absolute worst possible way it can. Prepare yourself for that worst possible outcome, so that you're not really caught off guard in that situation, and also have this attitude wherein you expect the best of the situation.
The last topic for today, can I call Toastmaster Manu? So pick one of the topics. So what's that? Like it's sad, and with that you have to combine these statements for
Okay, thank you, Table Topic Master. After a long time, I've come to Bangalore Toastmasters, and the first thing Vijay showed me is a sad face. This is what I will say. But I think, let me turn that crown upside down. I'm very happy to be here at Bangalore Toastmasters for quite some time now. The topic I've got is a sad face and a Bollywood heroine. First thing that came to my mind was Rannorey. I agree we are not allowed to speak about different topics in Toastmasters, but I take this opportunity to discuss on the topic. A sad Bollywood heroine is my life, and this brings me to mind the incident of the entire election process and the airport incident that happened in our practice. So I think one thing when it was an interview process, and interview was not asked about the presidents of India, and one of the answers Kangana gave was Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose, who never became the president of India, right? So and then we went on to see one more example of the airport incident where a CISF officer goes on to slap a celebrity in public because of some comment or incident that happened. When you connect with both of this, I think what exactly comes to my mind, or what I could make out of this entire experience of a particular person, is that
when you are stepping into a leadership position, it is very important that you have good understanding of what has happened in the past, good understanding of what you're supposed to do in the future, and also the way you interact and connect with people and be cautious when you're speaking about them. So these are the few important skills that I think are important in a leader that people can pick up. So this is a good leadership learning and experience for me. So as an upcoming leader in Toastmasters, I think this is something that helped me in my entire journey of Toastmasters. Thank you.
With that, we come to the end of this tabletop session. Hope you enjoyed the topics. With that, back to the Toastmaster and Toastmaster Shashank.
Can we have a round of applause for Toastmaster Vijay once again, please? Moving on to the final segment for today, which is the general evaluation session. The general evaluator for today truly believes that someone who has changed him drastically, who inculcated the winning mindset in him, both personally as well as professionally, and even in Toastmasters, was the great late Toastmaster Aaron Watson, who was his mentor. Aaron Watson was a very helpful soul, a talented soul, always helpful, and I'm sure wherever Aaron Watson is, he would be smiling today because Toastmaster Aaron Watson will be remembered by so many Toastmasters across the world. One interesting thing about the general evaluator is that he likes collecting keychains from across countries which he hasn't even visited personally. He runs a homestay in Chikmagalur called the Hidden Valley Homestay and also runs a guest house in Indranagar. Please put your hands together to welcome our general evaluator, Toastmaster Aranha.
Good evening, everybody. Nice to see all your wonderful smiling faces. As I said, smiling faces, everyone sees. So today was an absolutely great meeting. In fact, when I came here at the start, there were hardly any people, but it's really filled up. And actually, that translated a lot to the energy of the meeting itself. We had, to start off the meeting, we had the acting Sergeant at Arms who took the stage, who was Vishal. And Vishal came here and he had a very powerful voice that could be even heard near the gate, right? Very powerful and a great start. When you talk about a Sergeant at Arms, you want the Sergeant at Arms to start with the energy that you want, that can transcend and translate throughout the meeting. And I think, Vishal, you achieved just that. You had great use of body language. Of course, you were extremely, also you were well attired. Now, but having said that, you had a very powerful voice, but something happened in between and you became nervous. And there were a lot of times that you stopped, and because you had such a, explosive start, the fact that you got nervous was even more pronounced. And that is something that I would ask you to look at. The other aspect is, as you were, even though you had great body language, you kept doing this and this for everyone to see. So when you do this, it restricts the way and the attention goes here, right? But even if you just move around your hands, it just becomes a lot more secret. These are the small points that you had. I really liked your innovative use of saying don't use the mobile. And overall, great introduction to the president. So please give the acting sergeant at arms Vishal a huge round of applause. And then we had our loving president, Priyanka. Priyanka has this aura of making people feel at home. Right? She comes on stage right? You had a very explosive start. Priyanka doesn't have that explosiveness, but she just makes you feel at home, right? But one thing that I have to say, from the time that you started your presidential address, one thing that has grown leaps and bounds is your body language. It's become impressive. It was understated, yet very, very effective, right? Each word was, whenever you said a word, your body language was very pronounced and very, very effective and not too much. I would say at one point in time with the mic, I actually felt, am I listening to a motivational speaker? And you had that aura towards you today. And I think you did an amazing, amazing job. So please give Priyanka a huge round of applause. Story tying in well to the theme. Before she started her presidential address, she called on our secretary, who's one of the other hidden gems of the meeting. A lot of people don't notice him, but he does a lot, and a lot of people who miss the meeting actually watch the videos. So he plays a huge part in it. Brian, I think you did a very meticulous and detailed job in terms of covering what happened in the previous meeting. One thing that I would ask you to do is, which you are not doing right now, is well smile, right? It makes a huge difference, right? If you come and say, good morning everybody, why is everyone not saying good morning? Can I get a better response? Good morning everybody. It's wonderful to see all of you here. That makes a difference. If you smile, there's a high chance everyone will smile, right? When I told you why you're not smiling, you smile, right? And that's what's happening. So that's the only thing, and I think it will add a lot of zing to your secretarial address, or your, the way you narrate the whole thing. But overall, I think for the meticulous and detailed job that you've done, please give Brian a huge round of applause. So there was another, they say a person who threads the meeting together, right? And that was done by none other than the Toastmaster of the day, Shashank. But Shashank, I think you did an extremely amazing job. You were very engaging. You had great movement on stage. You had great eye contact. Personally, I also liked the fact that when you came on stage, you had a good, relatable, personal story. And I think people narrate a lot of stories like, Mahatma Gandhi, Mother Teresa, but there's nothing like a personal story, and it hit home. And even though the fact that, you said that I've narrated this before, then I was like, why are you narrating it again? But given what was the context, I think it really fit in well. Kudos to you, especially for introducing the tag team well amongst everything else, because I really think that the tag team don't get enough credit that is due to them during the meeting, and I think the fact that you took a lot of effort to make that happen, kudos to you. And I think overall, just generally, even the transitions between people, I think you handled that very well. The only aspect that I think you can also improve on is the same thing that I would tell Brian, is the smile. Right? There were a lot of parts where there were fun aspects to what you were saying, and a smile makes a huge difference, especially as a Toastmaster of the day, especially when you are introducing someone. When you said clap, I think when you also just give a smile, the person coming in comes in with that smile, and I think that only one aspect I feel was thing, but other than that, you were Raymond, you were a complete player and a man to win. Right? So please give a great round of applause. Moving on to our speeches, I would go because Srinivas as an evaluator, that is, the evaluator 2 is going to be evaluated by DTM Sumitra. May I request, so we had our second speaker who will be called on first because his evaluator is going to be evaluated, and to give DTM Sumitra enough time, I'm going to change the order here, right? So the second speech was by Toastmaster Srinivas V. Yes, don't get confused. Evaluator is also Toastmaster Srinivas. So requesting Toastmaster Srinivas to evaluate Srinivas.
Thanks, Anand, for the clarification. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters, and in particular, our speaker, Mr. Srinivas.
Good evening.
So, wow, what a speech from Mr. Srinivas. I should admit, I was glued to you when you were on stage. And I think from the beginning to the end, you created enough excitement for all of us. Now, let me share a few of the points where you did a fabulous job. I would personally say it was a great storytelling from you. We were able to visualize from the beginning how the sequence of events happened, and the excitement was there. And of course, there was a suspense factor which got involved. Second thing, I felt you used quite a bit of the body languages when you were interacting with your boss, and he was also able to give that scenario over a phone, that how he was interacting. With this, I would say you nailed on the content very well. Now, to make your speak even better, I would request if you can consider my pointers, which will make your speech even better. Like, there was an instance where you were in a hotel at 4 a.m. He gets up and he finds his mobile drenched. I felt there his body language and was not appropriate. For example, his body situation was his mobile is drenched and he's smiling. So, I know in a situation, but if I would recommend you what you can do, imagine someone wakes up at 4 a.m. What would be? First, you'll be like, oh, what happened? And suddenly you see your mobile. The reaction should be like this, oh, is it working or not? Because mobile is the most precious nowadays. Right? So I felt that emotion didn't come. Probably the second thing where you could have used appropriate vocal variety was a scenario where last boarding call. Right? It happens to most of us. Imagine in a last boarding call, you are sitting relaxedly in the couch, thinking, it's me or not. Suddenly, what? Is it me? Time. I think that expression will make people glued, oh, what? In that way, the excitement should be, oh, let me rush for boarding before it closes off. That excitement in your vocal variety would have given those extra things. Overall, I think you did a great job, and I think kudos to you. You had a great story, and we had a great time. If you can follow these 2 or 3 things, it could go to the next level. Probably, I would say, I would recommend, since the project demanded both body language and vocal variety, I would recommend if you can repeat this project, that would be good.
As a general evaluator, it's my evaluator, but I can't do that because this evaluator is evaluated by another evaluator, so I will reserve my evaluation post that evaluation. Right? This is like Srinivas V. Right? Now moving on, not to the second speaker, but the first speaker who was there, and may I call the first speaker was Ujyant, and his evaluator, Toastmaster Rashi, may I call on Toastmaster Rashi.
A very good evening to fellow Toastmasters, dear guests, and Toastmaster Ujyant in particular. The purpose of today's speech, of today's project, was for him to break the ice for the audience, for us to get to know him better as a person, and to learn the basic structure of a speech. I think he completed both the objectives really well. Let me elaborate. The first point, a well-structured speech. From the point where he began, where he started talking about his dream as a child and how the journey that he experienced of trying to achieve that dream to where he currently stands, it was a complete circle and a gist of what his life was till now. The second point, his storytelling skills were really good. I was so amazed by it because he started with a very good one-liner where he spoke about the battlefield and how he connected that opening to his dream of getting into the army, and after that he spoke about the ups and downs, which that's where the story starts getting interesting. So I think that was really well done. And the end was the call of action. So you can't just leave the story at the problems that were created in your life, but the call of action that you take to make it better, to go from a place where you are and upgrade yourself fully. So I think that was really well done. And one more point was the title. I kept wondering in the beginning how his title is going to make sense. Like, I was absolutely unsure, but I think that's what caught our attention as audience. That's what kept us hooked to him during the entire time. 2 points of suggestion, if I may. One is maybe you could talk a little more about your family, your friends. That would give a more personal touch to your story, to who you are or how you were brought up. And the second point is the pace of your speech. It was a little too fast for the audience to grab in your thoughts, your emotions, the various things that happen throughout your life. So maybe if you just paused a little bit, and one suggestion that I can give is trying to record yourself, trying to record yourself and listen to it, so you get an insight of how fast or slow you have to go during the speech. All in all, I think you gave an amazing speech. You kept the audience throughout your speech. With a little bit of improvement, you're only going to rise high. Congratulations.
Thank you, Toastmaster Rashi, for that very detailed evaluation. I just have one suggestion for you, which I think you could have pointed out to the speaker, and that is when he ended his speech, he said thank you, right? And that could have been avoided, because I feel at the end of your speech, once you end your speech, give a pause and hand it over, because otherwise the focus is on the thank you and not the end statement of your speech. So that's the only thing that I would add. So, but please give the evaluator and the speaker a huge round of applause. Moving on, we had our third speaker, Toastmaster Varun, who took us back to those days. And his evaluator is Toastmaster Ratan.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and dear guests.
Good evening.
And Varun in particular. What I'd like to do, Varun, today is evaluate your speech on the objectives. I believe this is a very important project because this is where the entire delivery aspect gets emphasized. What I really loved about your speech was from the point you used the child's voice. You won't imagine, I just got hooked on, irrespective of what you were saying, because the way you varied the voice, that really hooked me on. Because I was right from the opening, I was engaged in your speech, but from that point I got engaged more. And also what you did was you lowered your voice a little bit after that opening of yours, and that is when I was looking forward to what's going to come next. What I also liked about your speech was the fact that your gestures were very natural. They were not made up. You were not, just because it's a speech or body language doesn't mean that we have to keep describing everything and keep articulating and keep being very animated about it. I had one of an earlier speeches which was on yoga. You need not, actually do yoga in order to give a speech on body language. Your gestures were very natural. So all this combined with your clear, crisp voice and your smile made your speech really very endearing. Having said that, a couple of areas of improvement from my side, Varun, for you. Firstly, I would request you to look and re-look at the project objectives. Vary volume, vary pitch, vary tone, vary volume. And, vary tone, pitch, pace, volume is very important. You reduced the pace, the volume, and thereafter the volume didn't increase at all. I was sitting there at the end and I was not able to really hear some of the words which you were saying, and still I was enjoying because of the fact that you had hooked me in. The other aspect which I would request you to do is, if you have both gestures and voice to focus on, then the gestures have to include some types of gestures. Emphatic, suggestive, prompting, descriptive. Things like this. When you are talking about childhood, when you already engage the audience. So those are the things that are important in this speech. Having said all of this, I would say that please work on your strengths and always play to your strengths. Your diction is clear, you keep smiling, all that is fantastic. So keep going. Just ensure that you rehearse so that your vocal variety is enhanced, and practice your gestures. Yeah? All the best for your next speech.
For that great evaluation, can we give Toastmaster Ratan and Toastmaster Varun a huge round of applause? And now to evaluate Srinivas's evaluation, may I call on PTM Sumitra to give her evaluation. Please give a huge round of applause.
Thank you, General Evaluator, for giving me time so that I do a thorough evaluation. the evaluator. So, welcome to my evaluation of Srinivas's evaluation. At the outset, I would say, Srinivas, it was a very encouraging and specific and also a very sincere evaluation. And the very fact that you said I was glued to you right from the beginning made us visualize, showed us that he sincerely meant it, and he had brought it out really well. Yeah, the story. I would say we could have added that the story also was very appropriate to to explore body language and voice modulation. And in your recommendations, what I liked was you picked out the right instances where he went wrong. Because even I noticed that he was always smiling, even though it was such a tense moment as the boarding time, and then when he found himself everything flooded and phone missing and all that. And what you did was very appropriate. You actually showed him how to do it. Because in Toastmasters, we not only point out the areas of improvement, but we also give the solution. So you did give a sample as to how we should have done it. Yeah? So, you rightly pointed out your recommendations were good, but you also sort of encouraged him. But that last statement, that I would suggest you repeat it, could be, demotivating, right? And generally in our club we don't do it, and it was not that bad, I would say. Maybe since it's such a critical area for public speaking, maybe you can try it out in other clubs and explore more ways of doing it. That repeated has the meaning of faith, and he has not failed as per my evaluation. So please be careful when you make such statements, because the speaker should feel encouraged. He should feel he is being helped. Yeah? So be very careful how you word it. Actually, that is your choice. If you want to improve this critical area of public speaking, please go and try it out in other ways. And that would be left to his choice. Don't say it directly. That's the only thing I felt which went wrong. Keep that in mind. But on the whole, it was a very good, crisp evaluation. So keep it up, and well done, Srinivas, also for giving the right topic and using the right list. Of course, we need time to match the body language and the voice. So keep it up. Let's do both of them.
Thank you, ma'am, for that evaluation. I happen to have a little divergent opinion from what ma'am shared right now, in the sense that according to me, what happened was, while Srinivas gave him proper recommendations on body language, I don't think you properly communicated to him that he didn't do his vocal variety well. Right? It was not evident in what you were saying. Even when you narrated about the phone incident, you didn't speak about vocal variety, nor did you give in the instances on how he could use vocal variety. And I feel in this project, Srinivas, though you did body language, your voice modulation, you did not move into that aspect. Sample this, your boss calls you, "Hello Srinivas, listen, I need you to urgently go and meet the client." Change of tone. Suddenly, it's a different person. Second, you go, there's a boarding call. Passengers of K8401 proceed to gate number 4. Right? Again, change of tone, understanding vocal variety, change of scenario. Right? You had that instance, you did not do that, and that was not evident. It was Srinivas, it was your voice throughout. Last statement, pilot, welcome to Bangalore Airlines. You enjoy flight. Just that. You create a scenario in the person's head, right? And I think that is what you miss. And you miss that full vocal variety aspect of it. You could have chosen to tell the evaluator before that I want to do only body language or I want to do only thing. So that was my thing. Having said that, as Anand said, there is a way to say it. So I would say my recommendation is that you do the speech again in another club and try and see if you can incorporate body language and vocal variety, and if you try and incorporate these tips, probably it can end up being a much better speech than what it already is. Right? So that was my thing which I felt both the evaluations could incorporate. But for 2 amazing evaluations and for a great attempt and great speech, please give the 2 Srinivasas and Now moving on to the hidden heroes and heroines of this meeting. May I call on, there is also a time limit, 1 minute per per person. So may I, with that in mind, may I call on the timer? Please give a huge round of applause to Toastmaster Prakarsh.
People who excelled at time management were the Toastmaster Ujyant, Toastmaster Himani, Toastmaster Kumar, Shetty, Joseph, Amir. People who could have done better but were within time limit: Toastmaster Varun, Toastmaster Srinivas V, Toastmaster Vishal, Vijay, and everybody were on time. Nobody in speakers, nobody were off time.
Thank you for that just evaluation of Master Prakarsh. May I call on the counter? Toastmaster.
Well, I congratulate all the speakers who came on the stage. They did phenomenally well because they were all within the beneficent grace points, except 2 potential Toastmasters. If they can look into their speeches, one is Toastmaster Varun and one is Toastmaster Kumar. Rest all perfect. Thank you.
Thank you, and may I call on the grammarian Toastmaster Anand.
It was an absolute pleasure to listen to each one of you on stage, and as usual, as is the norm, the good usage outweighed the bad, not so good usage. Some of the examples of the good usage were unspoken obligation, darkest days, amazingly divine, spikes of adrenaline rush, spider sense, compelling narratives, shattered the ice, metal bird touches the ground, fondest memories, shouldering responsibilities, our memories have a price, forever be stained, translated to energy, explosive start, add zing, threads the meeting, complete player and a man today, grab in your thoughts. I would encourage you all to use these usage as you speak, and the not so good usage was give back, is you can say give my report, extra motivated is more motivated. Went back to home is went back home. The drinking water, you can say just drinking water. Bogies can be replaced by the usage of compartment. And posh is pronounced as posh. Yeah? Wiseness is, you can say, as wisdom. Thank you.
Thank you. That was so crisp and nice. I thought I was playing musical chairs. It was so fast and nice. As I was giving the evaluation and as I called out the tag team, there was our table topic master of the day, whose face actually fell. He thought I'd forgotten, right? But no, Vijay, we had not forgotten you. And I would like to indicate and tell everybody, you know, you did a fantastic job with the table topic session for today. Why? One, very fun, very easy for whoever came on stage to speak on those topics, right? Very great situations, not very, you know, giving the journey of the 1,000 miles begins with a step and then you find a diamond, right? And that's like, what did you just say? But you gave a very situation, very easy to talk on. And if you see, a lot of them came and spoke for a long time, which was clearly evident and nobody got stuck in any way. Another amazing thing that I think you did, which a lot of table topic masters don't do, is the fact that you gave the topic, then gave everyone enough time to understand what the topic is and gave them enough suspense to wonder if they are the people who are going to get it. And then call the person, because that's how a lot of people were able to speak. Sometimes what happens, they make the mistake of calling the person and then giving the topic, and I don't think that's enough time, honestly, to just give. And it always keeps people on their toes, right? You give a topic, everyone's thinking of the topic, and then you call the person. So I think you did a great job. More importantly, you were fun. You had great transitions between speakers. You had something to say about what they said. And for that, and for just conducting a very, very fun, relatable, and you covered almost a lot of speakers, right? And everyone, I can see they are happy as a result of that. So great job. Please give Toastmaster Vijay a huge round of applause. That ends my evaluation, but thank you to the committee for giving me this opportunity. It was wonderful. This is something that I always say, I get to evaluate every person who comes here, but as a general evaluator, I don't get evaluated. So if you have any feedback for me post-meeting, would love to hear from you as to how I did and how I could do better. Having said that, it was an absolute pleasure and a blast speaking to all of you, and your smiles as I spoke gave me motivation to try and do this job much better than I already did. With that, back to the Toastmaster of the day, Shashank.
And a round of applause for our general evaluator once again, please. With that, the voting links have been shared to the members' WhatsApp group. The password is heartbeat. Small case, heartbeat. One word, small case. While you cast your vote, I would like to leave a parting thought in your minds. The reason behind this theme for today is actually the fact that today is World's Blood Donor Day. What I learned last month, when I myself had to struggle from pillar to post, from hospital to hospital to get blood, was that people are not donating blood. The donors of the hospital says, people say that it's very hot out there. If I donate blood, I won't have the strength. This is what they told. We may think, okay, there's nothing which we get back, but the fact that when we give blood, we get fresh blood as well. We generate fresher blood, so that's a good sign to have. The next time, if you have this thought, just think of the fact, or think of a father Or think of a son looking for blood for his father, or think of a father looking for blood for his son. Just donate blood, it's good for the society as well. Right? Because if you need, you may not have it tomorrow. So just cultivate the habit of donating blood. With that, I'll pass it on to the presiding officer and the president for today, Toastmaster Priyanka Rannorey.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Shashank, for taking us through the entire meeting so wonderfully and with your insightful thoughts in every section. Let's give a huge round of applause. I would like to thank all the members and the guests who took out time and have attended our meetings. Let us give a huge round of applause for ourselves for taking that step to improve in our lives. Thank you, General Evaluator, for your evaluation, and I'm sure all of us have learned a lot with your evaluation, and we will work on it to grow much more than we need where we are in today's stage. Let's give a huge round of applause. 2 weeks back, we had our district annual conference, and in that, one of our Toastmasters received an award for being a distinguished area director. Since she couldn't attend the coronation of our district annual meet, I would like to call her onto the stage and give her her recognition where she didn't get it that day. Please join me welcoming Toastmaster Hannah Victoria. The Best Authority Role Taker Award for today's meeting goes to someone who's very keenly observing how good and not so good we wear with our language. Join me in welcoming Toastmaster Hannah. Best Evaluator of today's meeting goes to Toastmaster Rashi. As the evaluator of the icebreakers won the evaluation award, the Best Speaker award goes to the icebreaker of today's meeting, Toastmaster Ujyant. I would request all the award winners days